Welcome in, everybody, to Running the Riffs coverage of the Collegiate League of Legends Championship here in the year of Ole Miss 2024, apparently, because they are the ones crushing the game right now, RMC. But my friend is a teacher. He has been through
Okay.
lots of college, right? And he told me that sometimes you get tests where, there's a lot of questions on them, but the last question is worth like 90% of your grade. And right now, SLU has to hope that the last part of this test is worth 90% of the grade because they need to do something to try to find their way back into this match. RMC, it has just been it's been Ole Miss dominated, right? The glimmer of hope that SLU had was when they played that lane swap so well, and it just did not work out.
Yeah, and huge props to SLU. We talked about it yesterday against USC. They struggled in that game too. Lane swap, it wasn't optimal, and they definitely polished up on it. They got massive leads coming out of their lanes. Aaron, was well and truly ahead of the play and how it kind of happened there. But it's what happens after that, Yanni, to get full credit for that final test. You not only have to get the right answer, you've got to show your steps and everything as well. And unfortunately for SLU, they kind of went the other way. They showed their steps. They didn't get the right answer. And it's not a draft issue. I actually quite liked the draft that SLU went with. You went with early pressure. You had the Ash Bears, which was supposed to dominate the lane. They kind of got leads. They read the lane swap right. They got the right assignments. They did win out. You got the Tristana, who was supposed to be push out early, get Prio, and get Winnie ahead with those ganks with that Sejuani. Again, didn't happen as well. So from here, I kind of don't think it's a draft issue. I'm not worried about what happened in the draft. The players need to kind of fix their mental right now because SLU is not playing as a team. They are not coming in with a game plan. Ole Miss is.
Yeah, it just feels like some of these ganks are a little disconnected, right? I mean, like I think Winnie has tried to make some plays happen, but as you mentioned earlier, he has not really been able to do much of anything in this series so far. He's been trying to get aggressive and it just everything's been rebuffed, but then he's playing these super mega tanks and everything like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that it's time to get back to what has made them successful and put a little bit of bite back into your drafts. And speaking of what has made them successful, I want to take a second to really celebrate what these teams have done so far in their time in the League of Legends space here. You just take a look at these recent tournament results. Ole Miss is looking to reverse this fortune. They're looking to trade places with SLU on this graphic.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny too, because when you look at what tournaments they've performed better in, CLOL, in CLOL, SLU's actually been the better team. CLOL 2023, they placed third, fourth. Ole Miss struggled in the round of 16, got knocked out by Northwood. You look at the Hugh Invitational, you look at 66 games. As SLU, again, second place for both of those. Ole Miss, third, fourth place for those. What made Ole Miss so hyped up coming into CLOL this year? A large part of it was their performance in the NACL qualifiers. They got third and fourth in the first one. They got second place in the second one. But then you look at the other side, and well, the reason why SLU wasn't in there is because most of the players are in the NACL. And even within their conference, Ole Miss, coming out first seed, sniping that away from Winthrop, who they might be looking to face if they can close out this game right here, Yanni. SLU, on the other hand, they ended up second. So Ole Miss, they've been finding more recent success, but not the CLOL success that mattered against SLU. So it is a bit of a surprise right now that Ole Miss is dominating SLU in this CLOL 2024 championship run.
Yeah, and you mentioned SLU having NAs for the NACL qualifiers. I mean, these guys didn't even play in qualifiers. Well, as you mentioned, is because they were playing in the NACL themselves. But really, it just feels like SLU has just been a little bit better than Ole Miss in almost every opportunity that they've had. The one argument that you could make is with their specific collegiate conferences, Ole Miss getting first and SLU getting second. You take a look at the teams. There's Winthrop and then there's Maryville. I mean, Maryville beat Winthrop earlier today, right? So you would argue that SLU probably has the harder conference at this point, right?
Yeah, arguably. I mean, second in a conference where first is Maryville doesn't tell you a lot about second place. What is telling us a lot right now is this matchup between second place from North Conference versus first place from the NECC. And for Ole Miss, if I recall correctly, they actually swept Winthrop in the grand finals.
They did.
They did.
I casted that game. It was wild. It was not close. It was really surprising. And it's really funny how that's surprising. And yet right here, it's like, oh my God, Ole Miss is up 2-0. It's like, when Ole Miss really needs to get the job done and they're buckling down, they're going to make it happen. Listen, I was I was out in the city the other day, and I went to the convention center,
Okay.
and the Locked In convention was there, and I saw everybody in Ole Miss over there.
Okay, and when you saw them, Yanni, did they give you the prediction? We're gonna
Absolutely not. They were too locked in. They didn't even notice me.
That's fair enough. And Yanni, right now, they need that sort of concentration to close this series out clean. I'm not gonna lie, I would prefer for this series to go longer. I want to see more of this series. But for Ole Miss, for Collimer, I'm sure he's wanting this to end out clean, and so they can get ready to prep against a familiar opponent. Because again, reminder, winner of this match faces Winthrop. Ole Miss beat them before. They'll want to do it again.
Yeah, and as you mentioned with Collimer, I bet he's sitting at his computer chair with his knees up to his chest, biting his fingernails, looking like L from Death Note, just hoping that this series ends the way they wanted it to. The issue is, though, I mean, you take a look at a game yesterday as an example. When St. Clair went up 2-0 on Winthrop, then Winthrop got the first reverse sweep in Collegiate League of Legends history. Could you imagine, RMC, if in back-to-back days we get not only the first, but the second back-to-back, the back-to-back sweeps, the reverse sweeps? I mean, it would be absolutely crazy. And SLU is a team that can definitely do it. We have seen Ole Miss at times this year look really weak. We've also seen times this year with SLU when they go up against really high-level teams, they tend to falter. They clearly have the players, but they have run out of time to put it together. It is now or it is never. Put up or shut up.
Yeah, and right now I feel like we've got to call a medic, get an ambulance on standby, because one way or another, somebody's going to collapse, Yanni. If we end up
somebody's going to get roasted. I'm telling you what. At the end of this series, regardless of what happens, reverse sweep or regular sweep, they're going to get absolutely roasted. Somebody's going to send the Wikipedia page of all the nearest burn centers in the U.S. to you, because you're absolutely going to need it. Because if you're SLU and you go down 3-0, I mean, come on, you are going to get dogged on for that. But on the other side, if you're Ole Miss and you give up the reverse sweep, oh no, you've made history for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, somebody needs to check on Collimer if that happens. 100%.
Oh my goodness.
And even if we get to a game 5, Yanni, we got to check to see if you're okay. You cast the reverse sweep yesterday, so
I'm battle tested, RMC. I am battle tested. You know I'll be just fine. And as you mentioned, Collimer might not be fine. We might find him in the most remote, desolate location in the world at that point. He might take one flight out to the small, unnamed island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean and say, I am done.
You know what, Collimer? If you need help, I'm going to tell you, come up to Canada, man. We're pretty remote. It's a good place to recover. But, Yanni, before we talk about recovery, Game 3, we talked about it already. I don't think it's a draft issue, so I'm actually really curious to see which side SLU kind of goes for. Do they go for blue side? Do they go for red side? And, notably, as much as we talked about Skarner in Game 1, Skarner was utterly absent in Game 2. It was neither picked nor banned. So I feel like for the side of Ole Miss, they still have a lot of options. If you're trying to deal with your Game 2 draft, well, Skarner's still open. If you deal with the Skarner, well, look at what they did Game 2 with this Aphelios, with this Scion for Stray.
Yeah, and I just can't imagine they're going to not pick it in this scenario unless there's something really specific they want to go for. I mean, maybe the idea is, Game 1 they didn't plan on lane swapping, maybe, and that's where they went with Skarner. And Game 2 they did, so maybe that'll give an indication away, and that's why they didn't elect to pick it. Right? They wanted to keep it a little hidden to see what they were going to do. We are getting into the picks and the bans here for what could be this final game of this best-of-5 series. SLU, they're in Central Time right now. It is, 5:48 over there? It's time to wake up, guys.
Gamer hours, Yanni. It's too early. It needs to be midnight for them to pop off. Now, for SLU, though, what's going to be interesting to me is, are they going to change up the bans? A lot of times I feel like in a best-of-5, when your backs are up against the wall, when you're down 2-0 already, just throw out the playbook, go with something completely wild, completely different, ban what's been working. But as we touched on already, Ole Miss has wanted two very different compositions. Now, Stu, banning the Callista, that's not something we've seen at all, picked or banned this series. That fills me with hope, because that tells me SLU wants to try something we've not seen yet.
Yeah, they want to play something that would have a hard time dealing with the aggression of this Callista. And I really like this, right? Your backs are against the wall, as you said. You've got one bullet left in the chamber right now, and you need to fire it off and give them the best team that you can get, right? Doesn't matter if it's a cohesive composition or it's we're going to just win all of our 1v1s, but something that when all's said and done, all 5 of your players say, you know what? We know we can win this.
And for Ole Miss here, with the Twisted Fate kind of taken away from SLU, they ban the Jinx. I was wondering if that's what we're going to see with the Kalista being taken away. Of course, something that can kind of bully out. Yanni, I'm going to say it. I know it's a broken record right now. Skarner is open. SLU, it's broken. Just pick it.
Well, they're not going to go in for that. It's going to be a Varus pick going over for SLU. We saw Winnie on it. Not Winnie, I'm sorry. Aaron on it in the last game. And that early game, it started going out really well, especially with the lane swap shenanigans, right? Perhaps, they're more prepared, right? And they're going to try to make Ole Miss roll their ankle in the beginning of the game, right? And Ole Miss going to go with what's been working so far. I mean, that Aphelios out of Shogo was wild.
And I want to highlight, too, the Aphelios actually went into the Varus. It's not a lane swap. Ole Miss didn't successfully dodge out that 2v2 matchup. So if Shogo could survive that the first time, he's more than happy to run into the second one. Now, interestingly enough, they're not going for the Nautilus early, even though Ashe is up and available on the table. Instead, they prioritize that Orianna for Uncle Sam. And as you were talking about, Yanni, it's such a consistent pick for him. It's been doing so well. And last game, the aggressive way he played for it was actually quite a big playmaker for this team.
Yeah, and I like this Talia pick that we're going to get and the Vi coming out. So one of the best mid-jungle combinations that you can get. And this means that Dark Wings is going to have much higher ability to roam and impact the map. I like this different look coming out from SLU.
Okay, Uncle Sam rounding it out with, Icelandic, rounding this one out here with the Jarvan that he piloted to such great effect in game one. It's a great ball delivery system, and now both of these teams looking for their top lane and their support. And I was just going to say, I tell you what I need to see banned right now, Rumble, because Surdy has been spamming it. It's great with Vi, and it's kind of counter almost to J4, where J4 on the enemy team might set up the hot pot for you. So I love to see that ban taken away. I'd love to see another sort of carry ban for Surdy, because I feel like Surdy, you got here by being a carry. SLU, please let him carry.
Yeah, I have a feeling that this last ban could potentially be an Ashe, although I'm not sure if that's what SLU wants. It'll just be a really difficult lane for no matter what they do, but they are going to aim them both at Surdy, which, hey, listen, there's no wrong answer for that one. Keep the guy on a tertiary carry or make him go back on a tank.
Agree. Now, for Ole Miss, I'm wondering if they want to pick the Ashe right now with this composition, because honestly, I think it works pretty well with the Aphelios. You know, you can still get a lot of poke down. It's great non-committal engage to allow Icelandic Hero to get potentially a Cataclysm on priority targets or set up for engage for the team. Instead, they're still going back to it. Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We're going to the Scion. Maybe we're going to the lane swap again, depending on what support comes through from the side of SLU.
Yeah, I like that they're leaving the door open for that. I'm really interested to see what SLU picks as their support, because this seems like a pretty clear Tom Kench pick, but look at that. We are going to get the Vayne coming out for Surdy. Pulled it out yesterday. Couldn't really get the job done. Most notably, got set very behind in a lane swap. So that is something to watch out for. They're going to round this out with a Rakan on top of it. Ole Miss, they got the pick of the litter for their support.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm kind of in shock here, but I actually really like this. Keep in mind, SLU did sniff out the lane swap the first time in game 2 and matched it perfectly. Galio being picked up for the side of Ole Miss here. I'm going to assume that's for Rhino. I know that Surdy was calling out Uncle Sam for Aurel and so on Galio, but I cannot imagine Orianna support. So Rhino, Galio, it is a lot of peel and really good engage and follow-up to come through as well for Stray and Icelandic.
Yeah, and on the other side for SLU, I actually really like their team fight. You've got the initial engage button. Darkwings can Weaver's wall in order to cut some people off, and then all of a sudden Skytech is charming the people who are stuck on the other side of the wall. I really like what they put together. The problem is they're what I like to call a really lean team composition. There are no tanks on that side. They will absolutely melt. Like, I mean, what melts harder than butter, right? I guess a snowball in hell, perhaps? This is something that is going to be very contentious. We have made it here to the third game of this best of 5. It could be the last game. SLU, they have decided that this is what we are going to bring. This is the bullet in the chamber that we're going for. Ole Miss looking to close it out in 3.
And you know what, Yanni? You call it a laning composition. I actually really like that idea from SLU. We've said time and time again, these are very mechanical players. They've been playing on different teams. Well, if we can't get it together as a team, we don't go for the team fight. We're not looking to try and get those wombo combos off. Let's just try and straight up dominate our individual matchups, leverage our greatest strengths. We called for a carry from Surdy. They've given Surdy just that. Skytech on an engaged champion, something he was known for. I remember his Rakan was something he was really famous for a couple of splits back. He's back on that one. And Winnie on a huge playmaking champion. Exactly what the doctor ordered. Now, let's see if that's enough to break down Ole Miss's discipline and teamwork.
Well, you see, they were only able to get off the 2 wards, so there is a path that Ole Miss can take to uniquely get them to the top side, but they're not buying it right now, so Skytech and Aaron are going to head to the bottom side, and because when he's starting out on the top side, everybody would get spotted out, so standard lanes for right now.
Yeah, good read coming through once again from Slew with that deep invade to be able to track who was going where. These are the matchups that they want.
Oh, here we
Stray,
go.
though, gonna try and interrupt.
Yeah, he's gonna make life hard for Winnie here. Winnie almost has it in smite range. She will hit level 2. Surdy is on the way. Nobody else is coming to help, and the ghost has been burned from Surdy. So good knock up there from Stray. He's just got to get to the blast plant here. He gets knocked to the side, and now Winnie is actually going to be able to just close out the kill. He was on the right side of the tracks, and first blood to Slew.
Nice and easy. Surdy burning the ghost will still get back to lane before... Actually, will he get back to lane before Stray does? Because level 1 death is basically an instant respawn with TP. You have to burn a TP, but you match it with the ghost. I think Ole Miss is okay, and giving it over to Winnie first blood isn't GG. Giving that over to Surdy would have made it unplayable for Stray.
Yeah, that extra gold in his pocket, though, I'm sure he'll be happy with. And the biggest problem is this is a Vayne into a Scion now, RMC. Like, this is something that is going to present a problem for Ole Miss. And they don't have that much hard. They don't have a lot of point and click, right? You do have the Jarvan ultimate, but that's really it.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, part of me agrees. The Jarvan ultimate is kind of conditional. It's a bit tough, right? But theoretically, I could see it working with the Shockwave similar to the Nocturne Ori combo to come through. And part of me is looking to see how far Icelandic Hero can get a hit as well. Because the other thing that we've got to consider is when he fell really behind, not just in terms of health, but in terms of time as well. He had to spend so much time kind of getting there that Icelandic is effectively, well, not 3-buffing, but clearing his bot side as well. Did have some of his camps available top side, so it should get significantly far ahead.
So Ole Miss, they shoved in, and it looks like they're going to manual swap here, but it looks like Surdy is going to take some time to back. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Darkwing's going to take quite a bit of damage here. Not sure if he's going to go down, but he will be able to survive.
He's got TP, he's going to be able to eat that, come back to lane, and he's got the Unsealed Spellbook as well. So, interesting choice, and one that is going to benefit him unless he decides to stay.
Round 2.
And yeah, it's Yang.
Round 2 here. Icelandic Hero is in the area to help defend this. Uncle Sam going to get punched.
This is bait.
Icelandic Hero is just biding his time. Uncle Sam's out of mana. Icelandic Hero, you got to help your teammate out. Oh. Turn shot comes in onto Winnie. All of a sudden, the turn. What a flash by Icelandic Hero. The shield is up, but isn't enough. He's going to wait for it to go down, and Icelandic Hero claims the kill.
Oh,
he's going back in. The shield. Is the shield enough? No, he falls to an auto attack. Icelandic Hero biting off more than he could chew.
You know what? I respect the idea from Icelandic Hero there, but missing the knockup just barely came back to bite him. Now buff transfer onto Dark Wings completed. We did see the roam up from Skytech as well. They are just trying to transition back into the favorable 2v2. Actually, scratch that. It's not the 2v2 that matters right now, because Aaron is actually falling behind in the 2v2. Shogo is demonstrating why he is the show GOAT. They're still trying to give Surdy, though, the matchup into Stray.
Yeah, they're shoving in these waves, and they're looking to take backs. Skytech recognizing this. The taunt's going to go down from Rhino, and Shogo's back gets canceled. That is critical.
A massive interrupt to try and slow Shogo down in terms of that swap. And now Winnie potentially looking for the gank here. Was not spotted. Icelandic Hero won't know.
Oh, this is so much trouble. Rhino's going to get a double taunt off, flashing away, but he's going to fall. Now Shogo left all alone. Stray is in the area to try and help him out, so prevent Slew from doing anything more. Icelandic Hero. Here, Skytech gets over the wall, but Icelandic Hero will be able to claim him up.
1-for-1 trade, but throughout all of this, Surdy's still just left alone on this bot lane, just taking all the CS. Show gets interrupted again! Aaron might not be winning the CS war, he might not be winning the fight in terms of the 2v2, but he's definitely winning the mental and emotional war right now against Shogo.
It's not just that, he's winning the game for his top laner, RMC. Look at Surdy! He's been completely unabated down there. having a great time, chilling out, sunglasses on. I see the shades that Slew has gotten, and they're playing with a little bit of swagger here early on in this game. Once again, turning things around, up 1,200 gold.
And it's actually really funny, Yanni, because generally when you're in the lane swap meta, the team that swaps first wins, or is the winning team, because they get to move first, the other team has to move on worse timers. But because they don't want the matched up lanes, despite the fact it looks like Ole Miss is swapping first, it's actually Slew who's kind of swapping first.
Oh.
What happened? What? I didn't see that happen.
Dark Wings has said, you know what? It's my game to win now. And all of a sudden, RMC, it feels like this game and this series potentially could start turning a little bit. Ole Miss feels so disconnected.
Hey, that's what we were kind of questioning a little bit, right? Saying that, hey, Slew, you've gone with the laning composition, just win lanes. And they're doing that. And for Ole Miss, all this lane swapping, unfortunately, doesn't seem to be working out too well for them. The early lane swaps, yes, but the more they're swapping, the more it feels like they're starting to fall behind a little bit. And now even Shogo and Rhino, they had a pretty significant lead, but now Aaron's got a kill, Shogo's only got an assist, you're up 6 CS, that's a full wave coming through from the side of Slew's bot lane. Your top side, almost double Stray's CS. Zoo is very, very happy with this. Let's see if they can transition to the mid game.
This is absolutely hilarious too, because you could see they started the back, and then as soon as Slew cleared the wave, they were like, we're backing right now. They saw Ole Miss was there. All right, we're still here right now. And I like the fake out from Shogo here, but Slew isn't falling for it.
No, because Dragon's on the table. And so for Ole Miss, they still want to keep their bot lane here in order to go for this play. Now, I do think Skytex realized that, hey, something's a little bit sus here. I'm not going to hard commit to this. I'm kind of rotating back around. They've got really good vision from Slew, but you still have to be careful that you don't walk head first into Icelandic Hero.
Oh, Ole Miss, they're having some struggles here, but look at the engage on the Surdy. He takes a turret shot. Stray's got to try and close this one out. Surdy trying to get away desperately. He's going to pop his ghost. It looks like he'll live. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Shogo in trouble. He's level 5. Aaron's level 6, and Aaron is 2-0.
All those lane shots we were talking about, the advantages we were talking about being built for Slew with always being ahead a little bit, buying Surdy that much time, does come back to bite Shogo and Yanni. For Ole Miss right now, I'm kind of looking, going, okay, look, I believe, I have faith that your mid game's really good. I think your team fighting is very, very strong. But with how the laning phase is going right now, at some point, you need to decide who's going to take the loss. Is it worth setting Shogo behind to try and get straight some sort of CS and experience?
Yeah, it's really difficult because now Surdy is let off the leash, right?
Yeah.
He's finally getting to play a carry champion. He has had all day to scale up, especially this Vayne. And we mentioned no lockdown earlier. You saw how slippery he was. Obviously, he's just a Scion, but it's a boost of swiftness Scion on top of it. Just able to get away easily. Didn't have to burn his ghost, so a mistake made there. But Shogo losing a 1v1 is really, really bad. Going to set him really far behind, and that means Aaron is going to be able to get stronger, potentially going to go for these lethality items, and now these mid-game fights are going to be crazy.
And so what if you burn a Ghost, Yanni? I know Alk has preached long and hard on his soapbox about how broken Ghost is,
it's
and
so
for
good
reason. Yeah, the cooldown's so short, so 30 burning, that's not a big deal. The flash going down, let's see if they're able to capitalize on that. For now, Slew able to capitalize on that pressure on the top side, starting up the Dragon in their favor.
Stray's going to hang out up here and take some turret shots. Ocean Drake going to go over, and I actually kind of like this. Really trying to shove this into, try and prevent Surdy from getting any of these minions. He's going to prevent him from getting a couple, but he's still going to be able to get that cannon.
Also, unironically, fast recall.
Good death.
The moment the zombie went down, 4 seconds before Stray respawns. Compare that to the 8 seconds base recall. Genuinely worth it.
The boss would be proud.
Yeah. And hey, who knows? Maybe Stray might have to channel boss this game. Probably not a triple cloth armor. It's looking like a tank, not the lethality or turret taking Scion. But Stray, this game will... he knows his job, and it's not going to be the one to have a carry, to have the highlight reels in these team fights.
Shogo, they knew that sweep came out from Winnie. I was really surprised that he ends up burning his ghost, but up in the top side, Icelandic Hero going all the way in Surdy with a nice sidestep, but it might not be enough. final hour is now ready, but he doesn't really have a whole lot of
He's doing-
mana. Icelandic Hero will be able to get his 3rd kill of the game.
I know it wasn't even close, Yanni, but I was like holding my breath and kind of worried actually for Icelandic Hero there. It felt a little bit dangerous. Slew formatting the bot lane.
Well, Rhino's going to try to get the job done here. Good knock-up. They're going to lock down Skytech, and he falls. Teleports coming in, multiple in fact. See if they're able to make something happen. Straight down to about half HP. The team is pretty split. Flash onto Darkwings. Darkwings getting knocked up on the side. Taunt coming down. Shockwave coming down. And Winnie falls next. And it's Shogo getting another kill. He's got 2.
Extra style points for Ole Miss there, just punishing Slew for looking for a dive. And you know what? I can't even fault them for it. Normally, you want to play onto the Galio lane so he can't ult with the double TPs. Aaron, overstep.
Aaron, a critical error. He flashes, but still taunted. And now he's going to get rooted up if Shogo wants it, but it's not going to be enough damage to actually do anything. Skytech, though, looking to go in for a play. Darkwings has that Weaver's Wall available. Charm going to go down. Ignite going to go down. Shogo going to go down.
Yep, and well played there. Darkwing's actually going to use the Weaver's Wall. I don't think that was necessary. By the way, Aaron, shout out to you, my friend, for using the loud icon. I appreciate that, buddy.
You know, everybody loves Loud, man. That is great.
Oh, yeah. I left them right up to the moment, but they just fell flat to camp for absolutely no reason. But, hey, still got to support CBLOL topside. 30? Okay, actually starting to struggle a little bit with the Warden's Mill coming in. 30 will still win that. It's just going to take a lot longer now to actually chip down Stray.
Grub is going to get taken here by Ole Miss. Looks like this should be pretty safe for Icelandic Hero. And if you took a look a moment ago, the gold was damn near even, but Shogo's over-aggressiveness burning him and his team means that Slew is up about another 1,000 gold, but Ole Miss has stabilized a little bit. There are shutdowns that they do need to claim on the side of Slew.
And if there is a way to take Ole Miss down, what we have seen other teams do is kind of just contain Shogo and or tilt Shogo. If you can tilt Shogo, this guy plays aggressive. Even when he's behind, he will still step up for better or for worse. Now, that's not always a bad thing, because keep in mind, as the game goes on, Aphelios will skill up, and we saw what happened last game when Shogo gets those critical Infernum. Sturdy trying to run down this Ion.
Yeah, and you know what? It's going to be pretty easy, although Sturdy backs off. He realized he didn't have vision, and that multiple members could show up at any time.
Yeah, easy is relative, Yanni. You can run down this Ion, but does Stray care about it? And we talked about it a little bit earlier, the fact that you need to play into the Galio lane. They lost vision on Rhino, and because of that, Sturdy didn't want to hard commit.
Uh-oh! We've seen this before. Sturdy gets stuck. Winnie trying to come in to save him, but Icelandic Hero claims kill number 4. Now Winnie is going to be able to flash away and Vault Breaker out.
That still does mean that they're completely pushed out. No records here. Not gonna lie, Yanni, I actually vaguely remember in the past that you could tumble through J4 walls, and that's why I thought this J4 wouldn't work into this vein. But given that we haven't seen that at all, I actually think this J4 pick might be the hard counter to this vein for Sturdy. And Sturdy, as hard hit as he's getting, if he can't get out of Cataclysm, it's kind of useless.
I don't know if they fixed it, but I do recall there was like one specific part of the wall that you could actually tumble out of. Yeah. But, you know, that was a long time ago, so I'm not sure if that's still a thing. Stray is going to be the one to get the first turret. Despite all of the lauding we've had for Slew to give Sturdy a free lane, he's 0-2-1. He's up, what, 10 CS? And he is down the turtle.
Yeah, and that's the problem right now, Yanni. The fact that Sturdy can't actually tumble out of Cataclysm, can't get out unless you have Flash, means that lane isn't as free as you'd like. In the 1v1, he is still pushing in Stray. He is still able to win out trades with really very little poke taken back. But the moment Icelandic Hero shows up that J4, everything's different. One Cataclysm equals one death or flash burn. And because of that, Stray is actually the first person to pick up turret this game.
Looks like this Dragon will be pretty easily taken here by Slew. They've gotten the first 2 in this game. As RMC, once again, we are at a situation where the gold is even 14 minutes into the game.
Do we get to see a team fight? I want to see a team fight with equal gold.
We might see it. Look at Ole Miss, but look at Darkwings coming through, splitting everybody apart. Rhino is completely caught out, and he runs right into Sturdy. Now it's a 5v4. Icelandic Hero trying to get on Skytech. Charm coming out, Roots going through. Knockup is onto Shogo, but Shogo's alive for right now. And they're going to cut off Skytech's path. Shogo able to get the kill. Isolating Kiro. He wants some more. Solo Shockwave under Dark Wings, and so's the Moonlight Vigil. Shogo wants a little bit more, but doesn't really have the guns nor the power.
Okay, not gonna lie, Yanni, not the most explosive team fight, not the craziest, but it sated my bloodlust for now. And the reason why I wanted to watch a team fight is because I'm actually not sure who wins out or how these fights play out. I think Ole Miss has a better team fight composition, but they didn't have the power spikes. Archangel staff just came through for Uncle Sam, so he was sitting prior on components, and Tier as a component gives you no combat stats. Surdy?
Surdy could find himself in trouble here. He realizes that Rhino's here, but because of his positioning, they're like, listen, there's really no play to be had here.
Yeah, okay. Now, that allows us to go back and talk a little bit about that team fight, because Slew won that. And despite the fact he trades 1-for-1, I want to highlight the fact that Skytech did not have to go that hard, had no reason to. We cannot dive this.
Yeah, I think they're just really trying to get the turret damage on, but with 3 grubs apiece, you're not getting as much advantage. Rift Herald going down on the top side. The question is, can Slew trade back? Double knockup is here, but Surdy is not.
Okay, but as you point out, Yanni, the goal is just to push Stray off the turret so that we can get chip damage off. And if they're able to push Rhino off, that's a win. I was a little bit concerned about trying to 2v1 because Rhino was waiting in the Wings heroic entrance. Hasn't really been used to great effect just yet. And I'm still kind of waiting for it to come through. Unfortunately, won't be here. Surdy still finds a turret to equalize the turret count.
Yep, and he's going to be able to pick up his Storm Razor. And keep in mind, while he has not been the guy, late game Vayne, one of the Eternal Terrors, once again, Slew has double 80 carry scaling. And the difference here is Dark Wings is having a solid game. Aaron is having a solid game as well. So Surdy isn't really the focus right now. He is afforded time to kind of scale up here. Remember, last time we felt Ole Miss had to push the pace, and they were able to around the 20-minute mark.
Yeah, you know, Yanni, do they have to push the pace? I feel like they've still got the Infinite Scaling Scion, who is probably going to build armor. They still have Uncle Sam looking to scale, and has not hit the power spike of the Seraph's Embrace just yet. Hasn't fully stacked that. Oh, Skytech? Should be fine. I don't know why we're chasing this deep.
Because he's got nobody to run to at this point, and there's Hex Gates available. It looks like they realized that, like, hey, you know, this feels really weird, and it did feel really weird, but Skytech just really bluffed that really well.
Yeah. I was actually really scared for the Hex Gates to come through from Slew. That is their side of the jungle.
Oh, Aaron walks right into a Cataclysm. He doesn't get taunted. A fight on 2 fronts. Surdy's over the wall. Aaron with the knock up there, and the shutdown goes onto the Jarvan. Down a Ghost Stray, but Shogo is untouched with red-white guns for right now. The dead zombie body of Stray will fall. 2 members of Ole Miss go down.
Wait, I need a replay on that. How did Aaron not die?
Shockwave! Oh, you almost spoke too soon. Surdy getting very low. The shield out from Uncle Sam. Skytech off the side. Taunt going down. They managed to get Surdy. Uncle Sam with the fancy feet. Shogo is still alive. They're squeezing this fight for everything they can.
I don't understand what's going on anymore, Yanni. I'm kind of losing my mind. Aaron walks face first into Icelandic. Doesn't die. And then on that fight as well. Rhino's half dead. Manages to catch the taunt anyways. And Ole Miss finds at least 1 kill to salvage the situation. It's insane back and forth. Now, ultimates have been blown across the board. Nobody has them ready. Dragons spawning in a minute. So I think most of their ults should be back up. And right now, I still think Slew feels stronger, at least in the skirmishes we've been seeing. I don't know if Ole Miss are going to opt into this. I don't know if they should opt into a dragon fight in a minute, but they probably will, given what we've seen so far.
This would be a good fight for them for one reason and one reason only. Shogo has both summoners. He's got 1,100 gold in his pocket right now and is on a relatively even level with Aaron.
Problem is, I'm looking at these gold numbers right now, and where the gold is for Ole Miss is not ideal. Slew, Darkwings, and Aaron, their carries are well and truly ahead. Or, well, not well and truly ahead, I guess. It's Darkwings is well and truly ahead. But Aaron's also very, very fed. So he's going to pump out damage. So I do think Slew right now are more than happy to look for a team fight. Up top, Aaron takes that turret, and we see a Herald dropped to the bot side for Ole Miss.
Yeah, this is an interesting choice. They are going to pull everybody down here. They're going to get the charge off and just call it a day.
Interesting.
And just prevent them from getting close to the dragon. Ole Miss very clearly wanting to break the dragon stacking here. And they'll be able to without incident.
Yeah, a little bit sad we didn't see the bloodshed. I know I'm getting a bit bloodthirsty, Yanni. But this is a very good macro play from Ole Miss. And this is what we've seen from them this series. Really clear decision making. We just talked about the strength of Slew. Ole Miss is aware of that. And so they don't go for the team fight.
Well, Rhino is going to get cut off from the rest of the team. Double taunt coming through. He's still very tanky. Shogo has a chance to turn this. His guns aren't great for this. Skytech going to go back in. Take some damage on the way out. Uncle Sam nowhere to be found.
Yeah, but more importantly, not on vision. So Slew doesn't actually know where Uncle Sam is. They don't want to commit even though they got Surdy to the fight first. And when all is said and done...
Oh no, they know where he's at.
Oh, now they do.
Yeah, well, the ward was there and Uncle Sam is going to find himself in a very uncomfortable spot in a second from now. He's trying to duck dive and dodge, but unfortunately for him, he might go down. What a shockwave, but he will still fall anyway to the cease and desist. Really good side lane play from Slew.
At least you forced the ult for ult. The worst situation would have been Uncle Sam dying, and when he's still having that cease and desist to be able to find a pick somewhere else on the map. Good play from Slew, good hits up play, punishing Uncle Sam for stepping up without the vision, without the teamwork and coverage from the rest of the team. Ole Miss now still trying to retain possession of the mid lane, trying to control that movement into the Baron pit area. It's too early for Baron, but you just want to make sure that you've got control and vision.
Well, a critical error from the Ole Miss mid laner in a series where he really hasn't made that many of them, but now Skytech is the one who could be in a little bit of trouble. He's going to have to pop his ultimate. He will be able to get out when he is here, but Cataclysm goes down onto Aaron. Aaron is trapped in a cage, and he's going to fall. Shutdown going to Shogo. Shogo is completely untouched right now, and Winnie's going to be the next target. He's ripping him apart. This is the fight that Ole Miss wanted. They take a 2-for-1.
This time Surdy late to the party. Rhino's still looking for more. Skytech able to just bait out, but Darkwings is chipping away the entire time. Surdy, great dodge with the ward vision.
Yeah, and because the Ole Miss jungler goes down, no Baron on the table, but still very favorable to get more foothold back in this game. Once again, RMC, 7 minutes later, look at the goal.
It's dead even and has been for most of this game. Now, Yanni, I don't know whether I should be praising Ole Miss for being able to recover from the deficit they had earlier, or, whether I should be criticizing Slew for not being able to grow the lead that they got in the early phases of the game. And yes, I know they've got the Vayne scaling still for them. Surdy, let's talk about him a little bit, because 0-3-3 right now has the lowest kill participation on his team. And sure, you can say he's a top laner, he doesn't get to all the fights. But Stray's been having more impact than Surdy has. And if you pick this carry, you pick this Vayne, either you crush the enemy top laner in the laning phase, or you need to show up the team fight and put up those damage numbers. Neither has come through for Surdy so far.
We said it earlier, it's put up or shut up time for Slew. Down 2-0 in the series, and Surdy ain't very talkative right now.
Yeah, he's got to let those silver bolts start doing the talking for him.
They're going to try to make the play onto Shogo. Shogo still has the flash. He's going to go over the wall, and the rest of the team is with him. But he still goes down. It doesn't matter. A fight on two fronts. Surdy making the play onto the side. He manages to get a kill. This is exactly what Slew wanted. Everybody was with him. Shogo had nowhere to go, and the Baron has been started here by Slew.
On hit, Varus, Vayne in pocket. Baron will absolutely melt. Ole Miss has to try and interrupt. The two tanks are there. Rhino and Stray still running interference right now. No shockwave for Uncle Sam.
There's no smite either. This is a fool's errand almost for Ole Miss. Trying to use the Baron to help them out here. Trying to do what you can. Flying in. Doing a little bit of damage. Getting people caught up against the wall. Going down is Aaron. They managed to get him. Skytech is getting low. Uncle Sam is pulling Surdy away. Rhino is getting low. When he gets out, Baron's secured. Skytech low. Stray can't get him anymore. Rhino is going to fall. Uncle Sam limps away. And Slew has now given themselves a decisive gold lead. Surdy comes up massive in a fight.
And Slew, for the first time this series, in the mid-game, find themselves a significant lead. We've seen Ole Miss close games out with the Baron. Icelandic still looking right now. No Cataclysm available. It's just going to hop right back out. And Slew, can they push? That's the big question for me right now. That was a beautiful fight. Beautiful pick. Surdy puts up when we're questioning whether he should be shutting up. But Ole Miss, they're still feisty. They're still looking for action, and they're still looking for the turret.
Surdy may be Australian, but he's an NA player because he's doing a lot of yapping right now, as you mentioned. 3, 3, and 3. Now he's got his Trinity Force.
Ooh.
This is going to be a big fight coming through. Uncle
Surdy
Sam
again.
landing a nice shockwave, but Surdy off to the side, ripping him apart. Shogo's the target. Shogo goes down. Slew has awoken. The sleeping giant has shown up. 24 minutes into the game. Firm control and putting themselves on Soul Point.
And another wipe coming through from Slew. They've got the Baron. They can keep pushing in. Stray can't hold this. He's tacky, but again, there's a Vayne coming for him. And Surdy, give him a carry, and he will carry for you. He's been the one to turn the tides. He went from 0-3 and 3 to 5-3 and 4 in the span of 5 minutes.
This is EG Surdy that we expected to see. This is Fly Surdy. This is the guy that everybody wants to see in the LCS. And he's starting to show up when Slew needs him the most.
Ole Miss has fully respawned, but can they stop this push coming through from Slew? 7,500 gold. They're kind of set up in this bot side. Slew hasn't had time to spend all the gold they just picked up from the last 2 team fights. So looks like they're going to stop for now. There's a minute left on Baron, but with this backing off, it's effectively over for Slew.
7,000 gold lead in RMC. They're still scaling for Shogo. He's on 3 items right now. Uncle Sam's gotten off some effective shockwaves, but we haven't seen any 4-man shockwaves or anything of that nature. Icelandic Hero was 4 and 1, and since then, 0, 4, and 3 has not made much of an impact. Who's got to be the hero in Ole Miss?
I feel like it's got to go back to Icelandic, because for Slew right now, the big carry who is wrecking the teamfight plans is Surdy. And who shut down Surdy early? It was Icelandic Hero.
Here we go. Shogo dropping the ultimate down, but now he's going to get tagged and targeted up. He is caught between a rock and a hard place, trying to survive. But Aaron is just free hitting on priority targets. And it is too much for Ole Miss to handle. Icelandic Hero limps away. Stray is going to go down before he can teleport out. And it is disaster, and Slew, this is the open-ended question worth 95% of the grade, and they are writing and writing and writing and trying to write their names into the CLOL history books for another potential reverse sweep.
Looks like that last minute sudden from Slew is coming in clutch right now as they keep their hopes alive. And I'm going to be honest, Yanni, that start of the fight was not a good one for Slew. The fact that Winnie went in blind with the Hex Gates, walked into the middle of Ole Miss, but still lived long enough for the rest of the team to come in. Surdy actually able to attack over the wall. Now Icelandic trying to be the hero they need, but where's his backup? Can he do this alone?
They have to do it.
Nope.
They have to try and do something here. There's multiple members not in the area. Icelandic Hero, you have to get in there. You have to try to make this play. You guys have Hex Gates. This is your moment. Trying to catch up with multiple members, but he can't get on top of Darkwings, and oh, he's gonna get out! Darkwings with the great escape. Thank you, Hexgate.
He had to be the hero, but now's not the time. And now, Icelandic barely able to get himself out of trouble. Slew is just snapping the jaws of their trap shut. And every time it feels like Ole Miss, they want to make something happen, right? They found that catch into Winnie coming out the Hexgate. They couldn't get the kill. It backfires. This time, they're looking for the pick from Icelandic. They're hesitating because they weren't fully set up. And because they hesitate, again, Slew looking for that counter punch. Now, Ole Miss, what you're looking for, Winnie and Skytech, they're the tankiest members again.
There's nobody around them but the Hex Gates. Keep that in mind. They can't get anywhere in the blink of an eye. They're globe trotting around RMC. And it just feels like every time Ole Miss tries to open up a window, the window is just glued shut. They're using every ounce of effort they have. It's just not enough.
Yeah, and you asked me the question earlier, Yanni, where does Ole Miss look for? Who's their hero? What's the play? Well, for me, the play has to be Icelandic and Uncle Sam together. They've been such critical carries for these teams throughout this series thus far. And sure, Shogo's going to do damage, but Shogo's going to front to back. There are no surprises he can really give us aside from critting and Inferno. Instead, Icelandic Hero and Uncle Sam, if you can get a 3-4-man shockwave onto Aaron and Surdy, maybe you've got a chance. It's such a specific win con, and you're down 10,000 gold. It's a tough one, but it feels like their only shot.
Here we go. They're going to try to make a quick play here. Weaver's Wall coming through. Skytech a little low. However, they're able to turn this completely around on Stray. Yeah. Stray's going to fall. Uncle Sam is in trouble. Trying to run protection for the carries. It's a double kill for Aaron. Shogo's got pretty bad guns, and Aaron's got a bow and arrow. Quadra kill. They're looking for more. Can this man find the penta? Shogo forced the flash away, and he's able to get a couple back on the way out. Slew is running roughshod over the base. There is one man left to defend. It is a summonerless Shogo.
20 seconds. If Shogo can stall that long, maybe his team can back him up. But Slew, they're playing patient. They're just doing this methodically, taking down each and every single inhibitor. They're not going to risk going up against the raid boss that is Shogo with his back up against the wall. They're not going to try and give over those bounties. Instead, they'll take their time. Slew's going to reset. Dragon is on the table. Baron is on the table.
I really like this TP because Ole Miss need to make a move before these super minions start spilling into their base. They're using teleports to head over to the Dragon here. So Slew will take that Genji Baron buff, but Ole Miss will buy themselves 5 more minutes.
And most importantly, not giving over Hexel to the side of St. Louis, where Dark Wings, Aaron, their poke has been so incredibly effective. If Surdy can run you down that Hex, that is worse, I think, than giving over the Genji Baron buff. But Slew will now have double supers, plus Genji Baron buff, plus a 10k gold lead. Or sorry, 12k gold lead as Baron goes down.
It's pretty massive right now, and it definitely matters. We'll see if they're able to even stop this onslaught because the minions are already in the base, and Orianna clears waves okay. Velios can clear waves okay, but you really need to be aware of what guns you're going to have for a fight. Shogo no longer has that luxury.
Yep, with Calibrum and... I don't know what the Chakrams are actually called right now, but those are the ideal guns for fighting. You either want Red-White or you want Infernum and maybe Gravitum to boot as well. And he doesn't have any of that. So for Slew, they should be actively looking for this. They are walking into super, so they've got enough attack, and Winnie pulls the trigger early and isolated.
Winnie is going to get solo shockwave, but they're going to turn the cease and desist onto him. Shogo's been taunted, but he's still alive, and he's okay for right now. Drops the ultimate down, gets a little bit of damage, but it's not a whole lot. Surdy is just chunking and chewing on these turrets. Surdy is going to be the target. He's going to fall. Shogo now is looking to lead from the front. Stray moves in. He's going to go down in zombie form. Aaron is going to get flash taunted and targeted by Shogo, and now he's resurrecting. He's caught. He has nowhere to go. But the team should be able to protect him. There is no front line for Shogo. Shogo gets flashed engaged on, and he falls. Slew managed to break the will of Ole Miss, and we have a series on our hands, RMC. Slew are still in it.
As 4x4 likes to say, Slew will not go quietly into that good night, Yanni. This is what we expected from them, and all of this, it feels like, coming from a change in mindset. Instead of saying, we're going to team fight you, we're just going to say, hey, we know who our carries are. Give them what they need. Give them agency. And it's working out so incredibly well. Sure, they took down Surdy, but Ole Miss had to blow so much to do it. They didn't have enough in the tank to defend their base.
Let them cook, RMC. This is the Slew that we wanted to see. Aggressive, making plays. Dark Wings was near everywhere, man. Used the Weaver's Wall on the bot side and then walked all the way to the top side of the map and able to make plays happen with that. This is now a series. Slew has to have a little bit of confidence in them going into this next game. But I want to say, I think Ole Miss, again, that early game with the lane swaps did not work out, but they were still in the game for a very long time and fought for every bit that they were worth down to the wire. So I can't imagine that they're going to come back with any dampened spirits.
No, and to give props to Ole Miss, you saw how they were playing towards the end there. Shogo, you know, in their wins, Icelandic Hero and Uncle Sam looked amazing. But in their losses, I mean, Shogo was standing out, standing tall, holding that base at the end, best he could. They're still playing pretty good League of Legends, Yanni. I think the big problem was playing cute in the beginning with those lane swaps to come through. I think they just played standard 2v2, 1v1 matchups. Sure, it's really hard for Stray. And hey, maybe there's a lesson that we stop blinding for Stray. I mean, you can pick your jungles first, let Stray get a counter pick, and then give Shogo his 2v2. That's his bread and butter. That's what he made his name on, was crushing his opponents in the straight up matchup. I want to see them go back to what worked for them in game 1.
It's been really hard because SLU has picked really oppressive bot lanes. Oh, and their bot lane is pretty good too. I'm interested to see how Ole Miss's draft strategy is going to change because SLU is able to take this game. They clearly had an adaptation. It is time for Ole Miss themselves to adapt. We'll see what Coach Collimer has cooking up for the boys. We're going to take a very short break, and when we return, we'll give you all the action of the Game 4 draft between St. Louis University and Ole Miss.